What is going on, y'all? On Warren Cars back again. Good morning or good afternoon. Happy Friday. It is a great Friday, great day to be doing some car buyer's guides. Today we are going to be doing the third gen Dodge Viper. So this is the 2003 to 2006 Viper. It was the first model that came with the 8.3 liter V10, so it was upgraded from the 8 liter V10 in the Gen 2. And yeah, this was one of the, in my opinion, one of the best value Vipers. It brought the car into the modern era. It had ABS, it had power windows, power lock, stuff like that. So this car is the first edition of the Viper where it became a modern vehicle, in my opinion, and super desirable. Up until recently, these cars could be had for a really good price, but they started to go up in price in the past couple years. So if you want to get one, I suggest that you get one soon because these cars are going to be highly desirable. They did come in a coupe and convertible. The convertible was available from 2003 to 2006. The coupe, however, was only available in 2006. So if you want to get one that's super collectible, I suggest getting the coupe. But then again, that is going to command a higher price. But before I get into the features, options, and problems, let's just go over some announcements. It's Friday. It's been a long week. Got through all the review or the buyer's guides. I got more coming next week. Much more content coming for y'all. I just got to get everything, set in stone and get the ball moving in terms of recording content and editing and all that. It's a lot of work. Go follow my socials. They're in the description below. Onward Cars on Instagram, Onward.Ali Bujang on Instagram. Go follow my AI car page, Alternate Reality Autos. Also, if you want to follow along with what I'm doing today, you can join my Discord. The link is also in the description. And then you can see all the links for the ads as well as the information on all the cars that I post. You can follow along there as well. Just hit that link. What else? Yeah, Dodge Viper. This car has been known for being one of the most dangerous cars to own and drive. Early models, the Gen 1 and Gen 2 didn't have any sort of assistance. So this one has ABS. The old ones did not have ABS, so no ABS, no traction control, no stability control. 500 horsepower from an 8.3 liter V10. Push rods, simple stuff. This car is pretty mechanically sound, but we're going to go over that as well with the problems. Let's get this photo. So going to the features, options, and problems. Let's see, paint. Cool. Got a little Viper up there. All right, cool. Yep, as I mentioned before, this goes from 2003 to 2006, so not very long. However, there are a ton of these for sale online. It's insane. It's only 4 model years of the car, but there's almost 80 for sale on Auto Trader. And on Facebook, I remember I was just going through the ads. I usually pick out 5 for y'all, but there is about 20 different Vipers, 3rd gen Vipers for sale in my 500-mile radius, which is kind of crazy because you can look up the same thing. Like yesterday, we were looking up the M6. There was way less M6s than Vipers. So, as I mentioned before, this is the 2003 to 2006. This is going to be the Gen 3, or the chassis code is ZB1. That is what it's technically called. So this is the ZB1 Viper. The 2008 to, I'm not sure when it ended, but the 4th gen is called the ZB2. It's basically a facelift of this model. They look very similar. As I mentioned before, 8.3 liter V10, upgraded from the 8 liter in the Gen 2. Also, another thing, the Gen 2 had rear exhaust. The Gen 1 had side exhaust, and the Gen 3 went back to the side exhaust, which I'm glad because that's what Vipers are known for. They all came with a manual transmission. You can't get an automatic transmission with the Viper. It came with the Tremec T56 6-speed transmission. All of them did. If you can't drive manual, you can't drive a Viper. 0 to 60 is in 3.8 seconds, which is super fast. This is 2003. So, really good performance from this car. It's available in Roadster and Coupe, and as I mentioned before, the Coupe came in 2006, so the Coupes are significantly rare. And it has ABS for the Gen 3. This was the first year where ABS was added, but it doesn't have traction control or stability control. and it also comes with a limited slip differential. Moving on to the options, there aren't too many options for this car, surprisingly, not surprisingly. Most of these cars just really came in one fashion. The only thing really you could decide was the interior color, exterior color, and if it had a stripe or not. So 2003 is the first model year. Don't recommend getting a first model year of anything, but those are going to be the cheapest examples. And the 2006, the power was bumped from 500 to 510. And then the only package that I could really find that you can get with the 3rd gen Viper is the Mamba edition, which has a red and black interior. These go for a little bit of a premium, but I do have some examples that are going for cheap. So it's really up to you if you want to get this Mamba edition. Not too necessary to get because it doesn't really come with anything besides the, the badges and the red and black interior. And I believe on no, never mind. So let's look at the colors that the Viper comes in. You're really going to see the same colors over and over, but we'll start just by looking at what they offered. So 2003 model year, they only offered silver, red, and black. 2004 model year, they had silver, red, and black, and then they offered a white. 2005 model year, they had silver, like a dark red, they call it Venom red, Viper red, orange, copperhead orange, white, and black. And then for the 2008, they added the blue, and then just red and black. So most of these cars are going to be red, black, or silver. You see a blue, got a couple blues. That's obviously going to be 2006 model, and then for 2005 they also offered that orange. So not too many colors. Let's see if I can find any more information. Not really. Yeah, it's a shame that they didn't offer this emerald green with the Gen 3 Viper. That emerald green would have been really nice. Also some yellows. They never added a single yellow, which is interesting because I definitely have some examples in yellow. So I don't know if this isn't completely accurate, but we are going to find out. We're going to see the ads in a second. So yeah, not too many colors with the Viper. They're going to be pretty standard. Interiors are pretty much all black. And then there really aren't any options for these cars. So what you see is what you get. When you're looking for these cars, you just want to make sure that they're in the best condition that you can possibly get, meaning the paint. You want to make sure that all the services have been done. You want to make sure that there aren't any... Actually, let's get into the problems. That's in the next part. So most of the vehicles we're going to look at today, most of the examples are going to be convertibles because of all the model years of the Gen 3. The convertible was available for all model years. The coupe was only available for the last model year. So you're going to run into this a lot. The soft top has problems if it wasn't taken care of really well, or was stored outside, it wasn't really cleaned properly, or something is misaligned where parts of the trunk panel will rub on the soft top. That can happen. So you want to make sure that the soft top works and has no leaks. In terms of mechanical problems, this car doesn't have that many problems. It's a American pushrod engine. There's not really much. You want to look out for the big things. Rear main seal leaks have been a thing on these cars, as they are with every car. Timing cover leaks. Just want to make sure that the car is bone dry. You don't want to be running into any problems, simply because, I mean, these are simple problems to fix technically, but you're going to be paying a premium because the Viper is technically a supercar or an exotic vehicle. You're going to be paying those prices. You want to make sure that the roof and door seals are good. Most people don't drive these cars in bad weather simply because they are hard to drive, period. So a leaking roof and door seal won't really be too much of an issue practically in real life, but you just want to make sure that the car has been taken care of well, and that includes seeing whether or not all the brittle rubber materials have been kept up, or are they starting to degrade, because these cars are getting pretty old at this point. These cars, as I mentioned, are pretty reliable mechanically. Transmissions are pretty robust. Engine is pretty stout. Other things you want to look out for: suspension components. You want to make sure that there aren't any weird noises, any clunks or rattles especially when going slow speeds, because that's when you're going to hear it the most. And then another problem, not really something that you can fix or anything that you can look out for from the factory to avoid the problem, but the passenger side of the compartment gets really hot because of the crossover of the exhaust. Let me show you how this exhaust works. Viper 3rd gen exhaust diagram. So basically, because of the side exhaust on these cars, a lot of the early models, they just had true duals. So each bank of 5 cylinders went to each side. But you want to have better flow, you want to have better sound. So this Gen 3 actually comes with a crossover. The Gen 2 had a crossover, but it had rear exhaust, so the crossover was pretty standard. It just happened in the natural path of the exhaust. But as you can see for this is the Gen 3 Viper exhaust. Now, what are we looking at? This is the differential right here. So this exhaust is right in front of the differential. This is the engine block up here. So what happens is each bank runs all the way to the back by the differential, and this is the right bank exhaust, right? It crosses over and comes out the left side of the car, and the left bank exhaust crosses over and comes out the right side of the car. For some reason around here on the passenger side of the car, it gets super hot. Not sure why it doesn't get super hot on the driver's side too, but the passenger side gets really hot. You can fix this in a number of different ways. You can have true duals. Doesn't sound as good, but you're not going to have this problem. Obviously, you can get more heat shielding. You can get different exhaust like material. You can mess with where the exhaust mufflers are. You can take out mufflers. You can do a lot of things. A lot of people, to mitigate this, they just simply put more heat shielding, or they do the true duals. I wouldn't recommend doing true duals on a Viper. They don't sound good. The whole point of a V10 is to get that uniform sound, and that's what, in my opinion, the first gen Vipers are lacking. They sound like two 5-cylinder engines sitting next to each other. But see, this crossover, this H right here is what's necessary. People have even turned it into some sort of crazy X. But as I mentioned before, that is an issue with these Vipers, is that over here it gets super hot in the passenger compartment. But that pretty much goes over the features, options, and problems with this car. Not much going on. This car is very simple. Not many model years for the example we're looking at today. So we're going to just keep it simple. But yeah, let's get on to the ads. Let's see what we got for ads. Let's see. So Facebook, our first place for ads. We have a 03 first model year, 86,000 miles. So really high mile car. See what he has to say about it. Deal fell through, so it's back up. Don't waste my time. Serious inquiries only. Please ask questions, but will not reply. Okay, whatever. He wants to trade for 03 Plus Cummins, clean title. So here are the mods. We have K&N intake, Bellinger, catback exhaust, BC coilovers, lightweight flywheel, new clutch, 14K on transmission. So either it was rebuilt or it has a new transmission. Brembo brake pads, short shifter. So you can see the car has been lowered. It's on coilovers. Ride is probably really bad. But it is a sports car. This is going to be another common problem you see on these Vipers. People use this bolster to push themselves up out of the car, and it often gets crushed. Just something to keep in mind. This car looks very dirty. The interior looks like something bad happened in there. Engine bay is dirty as well. Seats super worn. But it does have 86,000 miles, and this is one of the cheapest examples I could find. 43,000. I wouldn't pay 43,000 simply because this is the worst example. So I'd be around 36. Yeah, I mean, he has the worst example, so he has to take it or leave it. Outside looks clean though. Looks nice from 10 feet away. But yeah, 36 is where I'm at. Moving on, we have a black example. Again, these are not 2006 models, so they're all going to be convertibles. I do not like convertibles, but for these cars, you know, you can kind of deal with it. It's pretty good value for the money. Not really anything to say about a car. It's a nice, clean, black example. Doesn't really show the seat condition. See how he's leaving that bolster out. Doesn't really show the interior of the car either. 22,000 miles though, so a lot lower. 50 grand they're asking. 22,000 miles. I'd be around about 40 grand. Yeah, 40 grand. There's nothing special about it. There's no information. I'm gonna start off at 40 grand for a car like this. Here we have a yellow example. This is what I'm talking about. I've seen a couple yellow examples, so I think they missed it on this, on the paint code. The paint code sheet doesn't have yellow, but I do have a couple yellow examples. So this one only has 4,200 miles and they want 63 grand for it. Very low mile car. The problem is with these low mile cars is that they're just gonna have a bunch of problems with the brittle, like this material is gonna become brittle. It's gonna start falling apart. All these plastic things, these hoses, they're not going to be good because this car has not been used. It's not been running. It hasn't been at operating temperature. It's just been sitting for almost 20 years, basically. So you don't want to get into a car like this, in my opinion, especially for this price. If this price is, like, if you're going to be paying a high price for a low mile car, everything has to be new on it. Like, it has to be redone. Or else you're just going to be paying a lot. Like, you can get a higher mile car. Basically, you can save the premium plus the repairs by getting a higher mile car. So you're saving twice. Whatever you're saving, double it basically because of the repair costs. So for example, you're paying, say I only want to pay 50 grand for this. You're paying 62, so you're paying 13 grand and then you have to pay an extra 10 grand in repairs. So now you're at 72 instead of 50 when the 50 car was sorted. Got to think about this stuff, man. Yellow car though, yeah, I'm around 50. I mean, I go up to 52. It's very low miles, so it's always going to be collectible. Keep it under 10,000 miles and you're good. Very clean example. Not really any interior pictures, but I assume the interior looks really good. I'm at 52 for this car. Here we have a low mile example. This is a Black Mamba car, as you can tell by the interior. Silver on Black Mamba interior is a pretty fire spec in my opinion. As you can see, seat bolster looks perfect. Car is very clean, but again, only 7,800 miles. Black Mamba edition 44 of 200. Does he show the plaque? No. But there is a plaque somewhere. I think it's this right here that says what number Mamba edition yours is. But it's just the interior spec, as I mentioned before. I do not think it is worth this premium. 82 grand. This is a 2005 convertible. I don't think I'd pay over. This one was a 2005 convertible and I was at 50, 52. Maybe Black Mamba, I'd be at 54, but I'm not buying this car. This car isn't for me. This is a highly collectible car. And this is just as pretty high spec as you can get for this year. So he knows what he has, but I don't want it. 62, 63, 64, 64. I'll give it 64. No, I mean, I did not mean 64. I meant 54. Excuse me. 54. And then our final, we have a coupe. So a roofed version. Look how much better these look with the roof. Like, this looks amazing. This looks like a modern car. The convertible looks a little dated. Very nice spec. Seat bolsters look good, even though it has almost 40,000 miles. They want 73.5. What did they say about this? Incredibly cool. incredibly cool car that is no doubt iconic. Has excellent condition tires, coarse aftermarket exhaust with high flow cats, and a forged carbon lip kit and spoiler installed. AC is cold, heat is hot. Great car for getting attention pretty much wherever you go. I don't get what people write these BS descriptions. I want to know about this car specifically. You're not trying to sell me a Viper. You're not trying to like introduce a Viper to me. Like, wow, like, have you heard of this car? This is what it has. Tell me what you've done to this car specifically. I mean, I get it. He included the tires and the exhaust and the carbon lip. But like, tell me about your maintenance history. Tell me about the problems this car has. Tell me about something that I actually care about that I don't see in the pictures. That's how you should write an ad. Don't waste people's time. I didn't mean to go off on this ad specifically because it's not the worst, but still, like, if you want to sell your car, talk about the car itself, the specific example, not in general. Yeah, I mean, it's a coupe, so it's always going to command a premium. I'd say the coupe almost commands like a 10 grand, 12 grand premium over the sedan. 38,000, I mean, the sedan, the convertible. 73.5, I'd be around 60 grand for this car. 60 is what I'd be comfortable paying for it. I'd go up probably, it's like 62. Depending on what work has been done. 62, 63, I'd expect a lot to be done. Cool. Moving on to Auto Trader. We have our first example, which is a black Red Mamba car. Red Mamba. Is it called Red Mamba or just Mamba? I'm geeking. It's just Mamba. A black Mamba edition car. This one looks really cool in my opinion. It's an 04, so it's not the first model year, but only 2 photos. Come on, man. Only 2 photos. It does have a clean title and no accident history, which is really good as well. They only want 45,000 and has 34,000 miles. It's a Mamba edition, so it's going to be rare and it's going to have that going for it. I'm not sure why it's really low price. I think he just wants to get rid of it, honestly. But for me, I'd be around 40 grand for this car. 40, 42 almost even. 40 to 42 would be pretty good for this car, simply because of the spec. I don't know how good the interior condition is. The seat could be bad, but just based on what I have here, 41, I think. Split down the middle, 41. Here we have an 03, and they're asking for more than the Black Mamba 04, which is interesting. It's in this gray color, this like primer gray that has been clear coated. Like a Nardo, I guess. Interior looks okay. Obviously this car color is in stock, but paint looks pretty good. Does it say the original paint color on here? No. 2003, 31,000 miles, 46 grand. I don't think it's worth 46 grand. It's 2003. I'd be around 38 for a car like this. It looks pretty clean for what it is, but 38 would be something that I pay for something like this. So here we have a 2005 Copperhead edition with the different front bumper. I think this front bumper looks really cool, looks really different, and it makes the side profile view just a whole lot more aggressive. It's also in this cool Copperhead color. Let's see what they have to say about it. 2005 Viper SRT Copperhead edition, Copperhead orange. Does it say anything? I guess the Copperhead edition comes with this bumper. Let's do some Googling real quick. No, it has a different front bumper. These Copperhead editions have a standard Viper bumper. So I'm not sure what is going on with this bumper. Does it say? Okay, so it has the Hennessy Venom Aero bumper, but no performance upgrades. So it's just a bumper, nothing fancy. Does look really cool though, in my opinion. Oh, it also has this lip on the trunk. This car looks very nice. Only 12,000 miles. They want 61.8 for it. I don't think they're far off. This car is pretty desirable in terms of its spec and the bumper it has on. It could probably add a few grand. Let's see what this one, yeah, I was early 50s. This one I'd be around 56 for, 57. It has low miles, and it's a cool spec, 56, 57. Here are one of my favorites on that we're gonna go over today. I just love this blue with these silver stripes. It's a really cool spec in my opinion. It's 2006. See what he says. 2006, good condition, runs great. 2 owners. Owned it for the last 11.5 years. Garage kept. It has no CD player because it has an aftermarket radio. He replaced it in metal. See, this is the type of stuff I want to hear about in an ad. You talk about your ownership experience. Interior door metal trim strip, replaced, or it needs replaced. Driver's door window does not always go up all the way. Rear tires need to be replaced. Some curb rash, regular oil changes. Front bumper has a small crack. Upgraded Mopar resonators. Only 2 repairs. So he only has done 2 things: radiator hose and stock catalytic converter replaced by dealer. Okay, so he's honest. It needs some work, but it is one of the cheaper coupes, so he's priced it accordingly. Has some weird mods. I don't like all these stickers. I don't like this tire stuff, but all this stuff is cosmetic and it can be reversed easily. I also like the chrome wheels it has on it. Interior has blue lights, kind of with the blue theme. What is this? Some sort of phone holder, probably. Yeah, I mean, this car is looking all right. It's a blue car, so it's a rare color. 35,000 miles, so low miles, 63 grand. Not low miles, like a medium amount of miles. 63 grand. It has some maintenance stuff you got to take care of. The seat bolsters look good. Everything looks all right. Yeah, I mean, he's not far off, man. It's a coupe. So I'd say for a coupe, I'd be willing to pay up to 59 for this car. Getting a coupe in the 50s is always going to be a good deal now. So 59. And then finally, we have our most expensive example on Auto Trader. We have a yellow with black stripe car. Really nice car. Really nice example. Only 1,300 miles. This car is basically brand new. This thing is a museum piece. Beautiful example. Beautiful car. Interior is so clean. This thing doesn't even look like it's been sat in. Not even touched. That's crazy. Perfect car. I mean, at this point, they can basically demand whatever price they want. 100 grand they're asking. Look how, this is the exhaust I was talking about. You see the crossover right here? For some reason, it gets real hot right here. Not sure why. Wow. Beautiful example. 100 grand. They're asking for 98.9 basically, or 98.8. I don't know, man. I couldn't really price this car, but if I really wanted this, I'd be like, I'd give you 70 grand for it, because it's super collectible. I don't really buy I wouldn't buy a collector car. Like, cars are meant to be driven, not to just sit in a museum, which is what this has been doing this whole life. Yeah, 70 grand, because I know it's gonna have a bunch of problems anyway. And moving on to Car Gurus, our final stop when looking at ads on the Viper. We have an 06 model. This is the cheapest 06 model I can find, 44.5, but it is a convertible. Has some weird mods, has some LED strips. Tail lights are blacked out a little bit. Let's see what the interior looks like. Interior looks okay. The bolster right here doesn't look too crushed. Passenger side looks pretty clean. 63,000 miles, so a little bit higher miles. Has aftermarket stereo. Engine bay looks all right. What does he have to say about the car? Coming in soon. So it's not even there. It's a dealer description. Okay. 44.5. Not bad for this car, honestly. 63,000 miles. They're pretty close. I'd say like I'd be around 42, 43 for this car. Simply because it's an 06. Last model year is always going to be more desirable. 42, 43 for a high mile 06 is not bad in my opinion. 43, 42, 43. Here we have a black example, 2005. They're asking 50 grand. 67,000 miles, so high mile as well. Black car, not too much going on here. Looks pretty clean. They don't really show the interior or the seat condition. Kind of, they're blocking it out with every picture that I'm looking at. So it has high miles, so the seats might be messed up. That's a big thing for me, just simply because there's not much that can go wrong with these cars, so I want as much as I can to be as good as possible. But for 50 grand for 60,000 miles, I don't think I'm there. There's 67,000 miles. I'm more around the 40, like the 42, 43. Same thing with the car before. This one has more miles and it's a less model year, so I'm gonna actually bump that down to around 40 to 41. Yeah, 40, 41 for a car like this. Here we have the cheapest coupe. However, there is a caveat. Let's take a look. So this coupe looks insane. Blue wheels, blue chrome wheels, big spoiler. We got stickers over it, and it is pretty much a race car. You can see it has different interior. It's all custom. Very much a unique build for a certain type of person. Very hard to sell, basically. But it does look like a lot of work has been done to the car to make it a race car. Hopefully the engine has had some work done to it. We'll read in a little bit. Look at this trunk. This is like a complete show car from when this car came out. Wow, look at these connections. This is insane. Why would you have all this? A full race harness. A full race harness as well as a full audio system. Yeah, it's just show car. I don't know what this is, but that looks gross. They literally bedlined the car. Holy crap. That is the worst I've ever seen. Is this like a famous car or something? Why is it so bad? Let's see what it says. 90K, nothing. Literally nothing, man. Just general stuff. Is there not a build sheet or anything? Nope. This car is just this crazy built race car with a full audio system that no one wants. 53 grand, 80 something thousand miles, 80,000 miles. 53 grand. Because of the mods, I'd be willing to pay 39 for this car. It's way too far gone. It's bedlined. That is the grossest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, 39 grand for something like this, and if I get it, it's going completely back to stock. 39 grand, yep. Moving on, we have an 06 convertible black car. Very clean though, only 17,000 miles. Has the chrome wheels, black chrome wheels I really do like. It's a really good spec, it's simple, it's nice. Seat bolsters look good. Good pictures for this ad. Steering wheel looks nice, doesn't look messed up at all. Just car is in very good condition in general. Clean lights. Paint looks pretty good. Yeah, this one's a good example. It is an 06, and they do want 58,000 miles or $58,000 for this. 17,000 miles. So it's low miles, but 58,000 for a convertible. Let's see. It's 2006, low miles. I mean, I'd be around 50 grand for this car. I think would be pretty good. 50 grand. Yeah, 50. And then finally, we have our final ad on Car Gurus. This is going to be a 2006. Obviously, it's a coupe, but in a cool color. It's like this gray. I'm guessing has been repainted, but I don't know because it does look pretty good in terms of the quality. Interior is clean. Only 17,000 miles like before, but this is an 06 coupe, so it's going to be commanding a lot more. 72,000. I'd say for this car I'd be willing to pay up to 62. It's just a really nice spec. I do like these wheels, even though they're not stock. This would be something that I'd like to do, so I don't mind the wheels. So 62 is something is where I'd be for this car. 62 grand. So that wraps up the ads for today. Again, these cars, Gen 3 are the first edition that kind of gets into the modern age, which is why I'm going over them today. they're going to become super desirable. Already, I don't know if you realize, but the latest edition, the Gen 5 Vipers, are all astronomical in price. You can't find a single one for under like 110 grand. They're going crazy. And look at that, these are not far off. So what people really like about the Viper, they want the coupe, right? The coupe is the most desirable. Obviously, because of the model years where they're cheaper, the coupe is the rarest. In the modern, the Gen 5 Viper, the coupe is going to be, I don't even believe they made a roadster version, so the coupe is standard and it's therefore more common. But for these ZB1 and ZB2 cars, a lot of people want the coupes. So if you're going to want a coupe, be prepared to pay more. The convertibles, if you get an 03 or 04, are going to be the cheapest examples. I recommend getting a higher mile example of a car like this. They're not too complicated to work on, so the higher miles just means that the car has been serviced and upkept. If you get a lower mile car, it's going to probably have a lot of problems, a lot of dry, crumbling materials. You really just don't want a low mile car, especially if you're like me and you like to drive. Here we're trying to get the best deal on top of getting the best experience. Some people just want the best experience. Some people just want the best deal. If you want the best experience, you're going to pay the most. If you want the best deal, you're going to have the worst experience. We're trying to balance both. And so that's what I try to help you guys out with on this channel. I'm going to be filming some more videos for next week. Stay tuned for the LS430 review. It's going to be very complete. I'm going to be comparing it to my old LS430, the pre-facelift. So you're going to get a nice comparison. I'm going to try to make the most detailed. I'm not going to try. It's going to be the most detailed LS review on the internet. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the people that's been diving deepest into the LS430 in terms of, you know, the market value, in terms of how repair costs have changed over time, in terms of basically what's desirable and what's not in terms of spec. Like, I've talked about all this stuff. A lot of people ask me about it. So I'm going to go over it once and for all in that LS430 review. I just got to wait for the weather to get better. It's been cold and rainy for the past week. But yeah, that wraps up the video for today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, these videos aren't getting that many views. I don't really care. I'm just building up the catalog of information so everyone can go back and reference this. I want to be the voice of automotive information, if you will. But yeah, catch me on Monday. I know that I was supposed to stream at 10 today, but I got held up a little bit this morning, so it's all good. Putting out the content, it's going to be up here forever, so a couple hours doesn't really matter in the long run. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I already said that, but if you didn't hear me the first time, go ahead and get that done. Help me out. Get this message out there. I mean, I'm providing this free game for y'all. This is free information. And yeah. That wraps it up for today. Y'all be easy. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend. And most importantly, be safe and have a good one.